let's learn together Sefas Emes. Parsha's Emor, it tells us in this week's Parsha that we find the mitzvah of counting the Omer, the 7 weeks between the beginning of Pesach and Shavuos. So the Pasuk tells us, "Isfatim lechem sheva shebusais temimas tehiyana." You shall then count 7 weeks; they shall be complete. So since the Pasuk tells us clearly that we should count the 50 days beginning from the second day of Pesach and ending by Kabbalah Torah by Shavuos, so it seems that the words temimas tehiyana, they're extra. They don't. What do we need them here for? So the Medrash addresses this question and teaches us that these weeks are considered complete when the nation does the Rotzen HaBorah. What does that mean? So to understand that Medrash, we have to understand actually the significance of temimus, of completeness. What does that mean actually? So there's a pasuk in Tehillim that says, "Yodei Hashem yemei temimim." Kaviyachol Eibishter knows the days of the complete. So the question is, God knows everything. So what is this pasuk telling me? So the Heilige Sefas Emes, that this pasuk, he talks about this in Parsha Chayesura. He says that the word yoda, knowing, to know, has a connection, has a connotation with the word connection. In other words, when the word yoda is involved, it underlines a sense of connecting. Says the Sefas Emes is explaining here that the days of the tzaddikim, those days are spent closer, as it were, more connected to Hashem. So tzaddikim try to do the Eibishter's Rotzen, and the Eibishter reciprocates by helping them in their connection. So Chazal therefore teach us that in our pasuk that just as the righteous are complete, in other words, the tzaddikim are working on their completion, which means their connection with Kaviyachol the Eibishter, so their days are complete. These days between Pesach and Shavuos are particularly suited for coming closer to Kaviyachol the Eibishter. After Yetzias Mitzrayim, the nation was like newborn children. Kaviyachol the Eibishter wanted us to use these days to leave the tumah, the impurity of Egypt behind, and reach a new sense of purity, so that we would be able to receive the Torah and be close to the Eibishter Kaviyachol. Therefore, Hashem gave us these days as a matana, a gift. That's why the pasuk says, "Isfatim lechem," you shall then count. In other words, literally for yourselves. Hashem gave us these days for our own benefit, so that we may use them to what? To come closer to Kaviyachol, to the Eibishter. And this is also the reason that these days of Sefas Emes are mentioned together with the Yom Tovim. So just like the days of the tzaddikim, the chassidim, the yidden that work on being closer to the Eibishter, so just as like the days of the righteous are closer to Hashem, so too the Yom Tovim are closer to Hashem. That's why they're called Moyadai Hashem, times of Hashem. In fact, so the days between Pesach and Shavuos are, in many of the Heilige Sfurim, likened to Chol Hamoed. So just like the days of Chol Hamoed start with Yom Tov, right? So too Sefas Emes starts with Pesach and ends with Shavuos. And the days in between are considered Chol Hamoed. So the Sefas Emes is teaching us that these days in themselves help us in reaching Kedusha, in reaching connection with Hashem. They're specifically earmarked. They're this Chol Hamoedic time that we can come closer to Hashem. But this is only true if we want to be pure, if we want to work on that, if we want to have that connection. Because I'll teach us that one who wants to be pure has a siyata d'shmaya. Hashem helps them. And therefore that explains the medrash that we spoke about earlier. These days are considered complete to help us reach completeness only if we strive to do so, to do the Ratzon HaBoreh. And that way we complete ourselves. So if we want to be complete, if we want to be wholesome, if we want to draw closer to Hashem, Hashem will help us. And that's why you have the double lashon. So Hashem will help us if we strive to help ourselves. I'm speaking, we're now, 7 weeks into this isolation, quarantine, whatever. We have to think for a moment. We do have the ability now to be a bit more, I know it's hard, but we could do some more learning, think about more spirituality. And if we think in these terms, if we start turning our thoughts to Hashem in a more concrete fashion, then the Aish Kodesh help, and He will help us. And we will get out of this Mitzrayim and be able to be Makabel Torah, Mahava, the Aish Kodesh's helping. We should all work together, work within ourselves, and be more focused. And Aim Schis will have the schus to be able to help ourselves, help Klal Yisrael in becoming einig mit den Eibishter.